Congratulations! If you're watching this video, you're preparing for an important interview. Today, we're going to focus on foundational guidelines to help you prepare for the interview and present your skills and experience confidently and effectively, which will set you apart from your competition. So please watch the entire video, then call your MRI Network recruiter to talk about the specifics for the position you're about to pursue. We're going to cover 6 key topics in this video: dissecting the first interview, interviewing essentials, best practices on answering questions as well as answering difficult questions. Then we're going to talk about the topic that gets everyone's attention, discussing compensation, and we'll wrap up with ending the interview. First, let's briefly dissect the first interview. You may not have interviewed in a while, so this will give you an idea of what to expect. Even if you have interviewed recently, this is important. Not all companies handle interviews the same way, but generally speaking, these are some basic elements of a face-to-face. You'll start with introductions and a handshake. Make sure you know the proper pronunciation of the names of the people you're meeting with, and use a firm handshake and make eye contact. Oftentimes, the conversation starts with the interviewer saying, "So tell me about yourself." And by far, most candidates start off on the wrong foot with their responses. Keep your response short. Focus on work, how your most recent position ties to this one, and move on to your excitement for today's meeting. Talk to your recruiter about any special comments to include in your response to this opening statement. Then you'll move into the bulk of the questions about your background and the available position. We'll talk more about this in a minute, but the essence here is to clearly highlight your accomplishments and how they benefit the employer. Some of those questions may be tough, so again, work out those kinks with your recruiter. Role-playing ahead of time is critical. Then you'll probably have a chance to ask some questions, so prepare 5 of those in advance. And finally, you'll move into the close. We'll cover that in a few minutes too. Now, let's talk about interviewing essentials. First, let's set the tone of how to think about an interview. You'll be at a huge advantage over your competition if you think of your interview as a business meeting, one in which you and another person determine if your skills would benefit the organization, the opportunity will allow you to enhance those skills, you can and want to work together, and it makes sense to move things forward. Thinking about the interview as a business meeting helps you prepare with less stress. Here are some essential actions to take prior to your meeting. First, let's talk about public information. A client can legally view posted information about you and may make a decision based on what they see or read on your blogs, website, and social media sites like Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Internet research on candidates is a way of business these days, so adjust security settings on your accounts or edit content that could get in the way of your success. Prior to the interview, conduct thorough research on the company. At minimum, read the LinkedIn bios of everyone you'll be meeting with, be familiar with their company websites, key news, or media items. Make sure to talk to your recruiter for more direction on this. Confirm the time, location, directions, and the names of the key people involved in your day. If you use internet sites for directions, be sure to confirm with your recruiter that the information is correct. Arrive 15 minutes prior to the interview. Arriving earlier may cause you to get anxious or distracted while waiting, and it might cause the client to feel rushed to begin the meeting. 15 minutes allows you to get settled, focus your thoughts, and observe the company culture for a few minutes while you wait. Remember, the interview begins the moment you step on company property. From that point forward, your actions are on display, so treat everyone you meet with respect and courtesy, whether they are the maintenance staff, the receptionist, other guests in the lobby, or the CEO. We've learned from our 45+ years of industry experience that no matter what the level of opportunity, success is in the details. So we have important tips for dress code and hygiene. You may think you've got this one down pat, but trust us, not talking about this has led to disastrous results. So here are the specifics. Wear conservative business clothes. Men, wear a suit or sport jacket. Women, wear a suit or tailored separates. Your recruiter will let you know if there are any other specifics. Be certain that your clothes are clean and well-fitting. Too short, too tight, or too loose may cause you to be distracted or uncomfortable. Avoid wearing overpowering fragrances. Look your best. Men, please shave. Women, wear moderate makeup. Don't chew gum or bring food or drinks into the interview. We've seen this go very wrong. Visit the restroom prior to the interview. Enough said. And please, turn off your mobile devices, or better yet, leave them in the car. We want the very best for you, and taking care of these little details helps you focus on the conversation of the day. Let's talk about answering interview questions. Have you ever been in an interview and your mind went blank, or you couldn't find your words, or you were so nervous that you said too much, or your emotions got in the way of a solid response? Yeah, we've all been there. In fact, most candidates don't actually answer the questions they're asked. They get caught up in these obstacles. But we want you to have a strong, successful interview. No more fear or lack of preparation getting in the way of you presenting your best self. Since an interview at its core is a business conversation, there are no right or wrong answers to questions, but there are effective and ineffective responses. Remember these simple points about answering questions. Be prepared to talk about your core competencies, skills, and achievements. That's something you and your recruiter will discuss in detail. Always tie your experience and accomplishments to the position you're interviewing for and explain how they will benefit the potential employer. Your recruiter will talk with you specifically about which experiences to highlight and which types of examples to provide. But jot down some thoughts now about what to emphasize and relate to this opportunity. The best way to communicate your experience and potential contributions is by providing concise examples about your work experience. And one way to do this is by using the STAR response method. STAR will help you differentiate your responses from other candidates by focusing your thoughts, directly answering the interviewer's questions, and thoroughly communicating the value of your true skills, talents, and accomplishments. Here's how STAR works. S and T stand for situation or task. Describe the business setting and the problem you had to solve or task you had to complete. Here's an example. Expenditures needed to be analyzed for an unexpected rush on a customer report. A touches on the actions or behaviors you demonstrated. Describe specific actions you took or didn't take. If you worked in a team, be sure to emphasize your ability to be a team player. And also be specific about your role and the actions you were responsible for within the team. For example, even though I was busy, I volunteered to analyze the numbers. I presented the data in a concise, easy-to-read Excel spreadsheet and provided specifics in case anyone wanted to see how I analyzed the data. And R describes a result or tangible outcome. Describe the specific measurable result that followed your actions and the impact or consequences of that result. So you might say, the customer received accurate information on time. My efforts strengthened our relationship with this customer. Again, talk specifically with your recruiter about structuring your responses to questions. This is one of the most critical steps of your preparation process. Let's shift slightly to answering difficult questions. Not all questions are created equally. Tough questions are, well, tough. Who wants to be asked point blank, why were you let go? Or what are your weaknesses? So it's important for you to answer those questions truthfully, quickly, and with as much poise as possible. Keep your answers natural and true to your personality. Here are a few guidelines for answering difficult questions. Expect unexpected questions. It's okay to pause for thought before answering. Provide concise answers. Don't give too much information away. Take responsibility for your part in difficult situations and always end on an upswing. Focus on what you learned from the situation and transition to how that lesson will help you succeed in the position you're interviewing for. Never badmouth previous employers or colleagues, and always watch your tone when describing difficult situations from the past. You may have good reason to be upset, but that emotion often bubbles beneath the surface, and an interview is the perfect environment to prompt those emotions to erupt, subtly or overtly. So set your mind right now. Under no circumstances should you say anything negative about a previous employer. It points to bad character and raises significant red flags to most employers. You can have great success in moving through difficult questions during an interview. Talk with your recruiter about specific situations you may be asked about. Now to the topic that generates a lot of interest: compensation. Since this is such a personal and emotional topic, be sure that you and your recruiter discuss how you should handle any discussions of compensation that the client might initiate during the interview. Your recruiter has a wealth of experience and wisdom in this area, and while you may want to get out there and discuss the topic, trust us, your recruiter knows the client well enough to know how to handle this delicate topic. That brings us to ending an interview. It's important that you close an interview with confidence and assertiveness. Clients will usually take the first step in ending an interview by asking you if you have any outstanding questions. So keep track of your questions throughout the interview and make sure to ask at least one question before leaving. Asking questions demonstrates your interest and knowledge. Asking questions is a two-way process in interviews. Take the opportunity to ensure that the company is right for you. Prepare a list of questions to ask the client. Some examples would be to ask about what the client thinks is the most critical skill or character trait for success in the role, or his or her management style, or a recent industry-specific news item and how that may affect the company or department. The most important goals or objectives for the team or department for the next 12 months and how your position fits into those goals. If you want the position, it's critical to ask for it at the conclusion of the interview. Summarize your skills and qualifications. Refer back to a few points made during the interview that highlight those skills, and directly tell the interviewer that you'd like the position. Genuinely convey interest and excitement in the opportunity. Here's an example of what that could sound like. This sounds like a great opportunity for both of us. My familiarity with the software and testing process you use allow me to hit the ground running, saving your department time and money. I'm very interested in moving forward with this position. Is there anything else you need to know about me before taking the next step? If the client does bring up a skill you're lacking or have little experience with, tell them that what you don't know, you're willing to learn. Demonstrate flexibility, a willingness to improve skill sets, open-mindedness, and the commitment to being a team player. Keep in mind the majority of our clients want employees who demonstrate enthusiasm for the company, its mission, and its people, have confidence to do the job and use their well-matched skills, are coachable, and strive to make an immediate contribution. Now, if you're not interested in moving forward, be discreet about it. Be polite, and at a minimum, thank the other person for their time and the opportunity. Never burn bridges. Lastly, it's a professional courtesy to thank interviewers and individuals you interacted with after an interview. Keep a pack of thank you notes in your car or briefcase so that you can write a quick note and deliver it immediately to the front desk or a traditional mailbox. You can also email a quick thank you. Make sure to check the spelling of anything you write or type. Remember, success is in the details. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. Use this information in conjunction with conversations with your recruiter in order to get the very best results from your interview experience. All the best to you.